Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Now, if you just joined us, we were talking about Shaggy. He was here yesterday, and he was talking about his mom. Let's play a clip.
You said something earlier. You said some people shouldn't be parents. Did you feel like your mom shouldn't have been a parent?
Yeah. I think there's something. There's so much abuse. I don't even think she knows it's abuse. It's abuse to where it's probably emotional abuse. You know what I mean? Because what we look at as abuse right now, that's norm to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know the psychological effect it has on kids or on people. So I'm saying abuse becomes normal after a while.
Right.
So in the ghettos, my friends get their ass whooped and yelled at and screamed at and slapped and punished, and to me it was like norm.
Right.
Because you adjust. You know what I mean? But as you go along, it has a psychological effect on you. But if you're not strong enough, thank God I was strong enough to kind of overlook. And I don't even know if I'm strong because I'm still suffering from a lot of things emotionally at the same time. But when you get to that point, you're like, yo, it must not be the norm. So that's why I'm saying get to a point where you have to stop the cycle. So I don't think it's her fault, and I got to come to terms with that and figure out how am I going to have that conversation, because we're on a race against time.
So 800-585-1051. Have you had issues with your parents? Have you forgave them? Do you hold grudges? Charlamagne.
I've had these same conversations with my therapist in regards to my father. I love my father. I just had my issues with my father for, actually just leaving my mom back in the day for another woman. He's remarried now. So I always, held a grudge against him. Didn't even realize I actually had a grudge against him until I started, going to therapy and peeling back a lot of things. But I think that we all got to be patient with our parents. I think that we forget that our parents had a life before they were our parents. They had their own traumas to deal with, and they never had the luxury of healing like we do. I don't think we realized that. I was able to have a better understanding of my father when I realized, he contemplated suicide back in the day, and he went to therapy two and three times a week, and he had to be on 10 to 12 different medications for mental health issues, and he was self-medicating, so he was in and out of rehab for alcohol and drugs. So when you get a better understanding of your parents from that angle, and you understand that they got their own traumas to deal with, you'll be more patient with your parents. And I just hope that we all can pass along more to our children than just trauma.
Yeah, I think I had an issue with my parents a couple of years ago. My dad is, my dad is a retired police officer, and he really looks out for the best interest of the family. It doesn't matter if you have a problem with what he says. It doesn't matter if, how old you are. My dad's going to be my dad, to the point where my assistant, my dad would tell me that be careful of her because she might be an IRS agent or undercover cop.
Jesus.
Just be careful. But that's how my dad is. He doesn't respect anybody. You have to earn his trust. That's what he is, and that's what I love about him. We didn't speak for like a couple of months, but we got over it. And like I said, my dad's my best friend. Like, he's that best friend that will tell you the real. He'll curse you out, but he loves me. I know that if I got a problem, my mom and dad will be right there. And what about you, Yee?
I definitely didn't talk to my dad for years when I was younger.
Papa Yee? What Papa Yee do?
From high school to college, we just did not communicate at all.
Why?
I think we had a lot of issues when I was growing up, and I think part of it was because how he was disciplined as a kid. He disciplined us. He was pretty harsh with us. I actually even got kicked out of the house for a period of time.
Yeah, that's another thing, too. When Shaggy talks about those beatings, like I remember one time my father beat me with an extension cord and made me go take a bath because I was lighting the carpet on fire. And
you deserved it.
Man, shut up. You think that's regular, but you got to understand, hurt people. So whatever he was dealing with in his life, he may have taken out on me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and he may not have meant to take it out on me, but it just came out.
Yeah, we got beating, me and my brother, every day. And one time I put a book in my butt, and he started beating.
You put a book in your butt?
Yeah, so they wouldn't,
Whoa.
and then when he was beating me, it was just making a noise. And then he realized.
My pops never hit me. My pops has never hit me, not with a belt, not with a hand, nothing.
My daddy used to go upside my head
Grandmother,
all the goddamn time.
Auntie, mama, but my pops never hit me. But let's go to the phone lines. Layla, good morning, Layla.
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Envy.
Hey.
You, Charlamagne.
Hey,
Please,
Layla.
Queen.
You have issues with your parents?
Yeah, I don't have no relationship with either one of them.
Why?
Well, my mom, it was always, she ain't doing nothing unless she getting something out of it. 5 years ago, she plotted to kidnap my kids, her, my grandma, and my mom's sister.
Wow.
And my last straw was when my sister had breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And she got both her breasts removed in April. She didn't call, check on her or nothing until June, and that was just to beg for some money.
Wow. Wow.
Like, she never cares. She don't even have a relationship with my kids. My kids don't even like dealing with her how she is.
So you think that's just going to happen forever now? Or do you want to make amends?
I tried to make amends with her. I think it was in my early 20s. I had moved to Detroit where she was at. And I told her the only reason why I came up here was to try to have a mother-daughter relationship with her. She said, I don't want one with you.
Damn.
I'm like, damn.
I'm sorry, Mama.
You know, as hurtful as it may sound, it's a very tricky situation because when you pray to God to take negativity out your life, he's not swinging at spirits. He's swinging at people and things. That's the embodiment of that negativity. And sometimes it might be your parents. You just don't know.
Do you parent your kids differently?
Yeah, I don't do nothing that she do. Like, I have my days that I could tell that I think when it comes to punishing, because she was like something else. Like, she beated me the whole time until we got taken away at 9 years old.
Beated you?
And then when she used to see me on the street, she still would jump on me.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you for your call, man. I hope that you and your mom is your mom alive? Your mom's still alive, right?
Yeah, she's still alive.
I hope that y'all can work it out, before she passes, before she goes, and y'all be able to talk about everything.
I'm telling you, though, man, hurt people hurt people. A lot of those major beatings we used to get when we was young, like that was because our parents had their own traumas. And whether they knew it or not, they was taking it out on the kids.
800-585-1051. Have you had issues with your parents?
Right? I can't believe that there's anybody who's never had any issues with their parents.
Yeah, and I also want to say, too, man, I love my father. I just also realized that I have the potential to be just like him, and I learned from his mistakes because I don't want to do my wife and family, the way my father did, my mother's family, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to be a better man, and I love him. I just understand that healing is a luxury our parents didn't have. Like, like going to therapy and paying for counseling, like, that's a luxury. Like, we the first generation that's really getting the luxury to do that. Our parents were too busy trying to put food on the table. You know what I'm saying? Imagine my mom being, a school teacher in South Carolina, probably making like $25,000 a year, trying to raise 5 kids. You know what I mean? And your father's doing the best he can, but he's fighting his substance abuse addiction and all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a lot.
I see what you say. I mean, because of the, my parents, one thing I would say, my dad has been real. Whether he would smoke, my dad used to smoke cigarettes and he gave that up. He used to drink, he gave that up. Even him being a police officer, he was so protective because he would see so many different things in the streets. And I would always hate it because he was so protective. But now that I have my kids, I understand and I get it.
Yes.
Because I'm that protective. And sometimes my son is a little like, Dad, can I do this? Or my daughter's like, Dad, can I do that? But no, I see what's going on out there, and I just want to protect. I want to make sure that, I can see my grandkids sometimes or my great-grandkids when they have them. I just want to make sure my kids are safe.
And you're right, and you can only teach what you know.
Correct.
So our parents, were teaching from their level of understanding, from their level of empathy, from their level of compassion. And a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with fathers, they don't have that.
Right. Ray.
Good morning.
Hey, Ray, you don't talk to your moms? What's going on with your parents?
Well, my father is no longer in the picture. He passed. But my mom, she decided that she was angry enough to sue me at a time when I was down financially. And I just felt like at that moment, you felt like it was okay to take out of my son's mouth because, I have a child to take care of.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry, Mama.
So y'all not on speaking terms at all?
Not at all.
See, once again, I said this already, but for real, man, sometimes when you pray to God to take negativity out your life, he's not swinging at spirits, he's swinging at people and things. That's the embodiment of that negativity, man. And sometimes it is your parents. Like, I don't know what to say.
Is there anything that you hope happens? Do you hope that y'all can resolve this?
Honestly, no. I don't think there's anything that she can do to resolve it with me.
Wow. Well, I hope y'all do get to a place where y'all can speak and really have that conversation. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
You too.
Thanks, you too.
Veronica.
Yes.
What's going on with your family?
No, well, like I was telling the other young lady that I see that the pattern in my family with the, mental abuse and physical abuse passed down from my grandmother to my mother and my oldest sister, to the point where DHS had to remove kids from my oldest sister, and I end up having to take care of them. So, like, I speak to my mom now. You know, our relationship has gotten a lot better since I've got older, but my oldest sister, I hadn't spoke to her in like about 10 years because of the whole issue.
Man, that sucks.
Wow.
It is. And I mean, I raised 3 of her boys, and I had another sister that had to raise 2 of her girls because, you know, one of her kids, you know, passed in her care. And that's why the kids were taken away, because she was physically and mentally abusing them, she had a set of twins, and not taking them to the hospital or their appointments because they were premature. And the boy, he was born with a hole in his heart. Wow. Where he was healthy enough to get the hole repaired and him have a full recovery, and, you know, no problems would be, you know, he would have no problems down the line, but she never took him to any of his checkups or anything. So the doctor ended up calling and, you know, letting DHS know, and that's what started the ball rolling. And so once the kids were taken out of her care, they were placed in my mom's care, which they went through the same abuse.
And how are the kids now?
Well, you know, I'm glad to say that all of them, once they were removed, you know, they did well once they were in me and my sister's house. I have one that's in the military that he graduated last year. That was the youngest. He graduated last year, went to the military, and he's currently in the Army now. And we have 2 that stay, you know, close to family, and the other 2 just, you know, moved away, and they're making their a name for themselves. They are doing well.
Right.
But they had to get taken out of the situations to go, you know, be able to do better.
Right.
We got you.
All right. Well, thank you for calling, man, and sharing your story.
Yeah, you know, it's so crazy. I honestly just had a grudge against my pops because he left my mom for another woman, which is one of the reasons that I am a member of the faithful black male community, because I refuse to lose my family or break up my family for another woman. But I had to learn that my father just made a choice, and that was the plan for his life. So I had to let that go.
Right.
You know?
All right. Well, what's the moral of the story?
I mean, the moral of the story for me is just be patient with your parents, because they have their own pain and their own hurt and their own traumas, and they didn't get a chance to heal. But we are the generation that can break all those cycles and heal and have more to pass on to our kids than trauma. So just be patient with your parents, man.
And I think what Shaggy said is you're fighting against time, and if you have the opportunity to have that conversation, have that conversation. All right.
But I will resort back to what I've already said twice.
What?
When you pray to God to take negativity out your life, he's not swinging at spirits, he's swinging at people and things. That's the embodiment of that negativity. And sometimes that negativity can come in the form of your parents. It can come in the form of your best friends and come in the form of your brothers and sisters. You just never know who you might have to cut off.
All right.